Former Vice President Joe Biden is facing pressure from his donors not to select Senator Elizabeth Warren as his running mate. Now, one Biden fundraiser told CNBC, quote, I think a lot of the donor base on board and coming would prefer almost anyone but Elizabeth. I don't see him choosing her for Veep. Well, look, let's be honest, I don't either. I mean, interestingly enough, she actually seems to be one of the most popular pick among the female candidates that Biden has been allegedly considering. In fact, a recent YouGov poll, which was conducted between April 26th and 28th, found that voters were most enthusiastic about Biden-Warren. Newsweek reported Warren was backed by 26% of Democratic respondents, while Senator Kamala Harris of California came in second with support from 18% of the party's voters. Stacey Abrams, came in third with 12, and Klobuchar came in fourth with 11. Now, it's important to note that Stacey Abrams, she's actually been very shameless in her audition to become Biden's BP pick. I mean, look, she claims that Biden has, absolutely not sexually assaulted that staffer. We don't know the truth. I believe Tara Reade. I believe the allegations, and I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, and also looking for more information to corroborate her story. So far, she's got 4 different people that corroborate her story. There's a call into Larry King that her mother made, asking about the situation back in the 90s, and so there's a lot of evidence so far. More evidence could be, of course, gathered from his unsealing his Senate records. Nonetheless, Abrams says, oh, no. The New York Times did an investigation, and they found that Joe Biden didn't do this. Now, that's not what the New York Times had said. Look, they had to put out a statement saying that they found no evidence for this or against this. So that's where the New York Times is at. All they had done is talk to a couple of staffers who say they could not recall, they don't remember any complaint being filed. But back to the donors, right? So the donors are saying, we want somebody who's donor friendly. Elizabeth Warren, not donor friendly. We don't like her. In fact, one unnamed Wall Street executive claimed that Warren would be a, quote, horrible choice and would lead to Biden losing the election. Now, according to CNBC, a number of wealthy Biden donors have had conversations with the campaign to pressure him to pick a more palatable option for Wall Street. Now, those conversations have recently included attempts to push the campaign away from picking Warren and encouraging the choice of other candidates on his list, such as Kamala Harris and Amy Klobuchar, as well as Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. John Morgan, a Florida businessman and Biden supporter, said he was distressed by the turn that Warren took in the primary, where she, quote, tried to out-Bernie Bernie. It was a sharp contrast to the Warren for whom Morgan implied he held a fundraiser. There were 2 Elizabeth Warrens. The one I had in my home when she was a U.S. Senator and consumer champion. She was awesome. Now, let me stop there. You know the big problem that us progressives have with Elizabeth Warren? The fact that there are 2 Warrens. And he just pointed that out. Yeah, there's 2 Warrens. There's one that's, a massively progressive. And then there's one that isn't. I mean, that's not quite what he was saying. Yes, he was pointing out that, she was running way too progressive. In reality, the Warren that I know is more moderate. Okay. So that's interesting. And by the way, I believe the real Warren is a career opportunist. That's just what I get from covering her for so long. She is a careerist, and she is, yes, she has done some decent things, and she has pushed some decent policies, but she's also not an honest actor. She's not somebody who is deeply, deeply progressive, and is someone who is more concerned about amassing power. That's why we don't trust her. So now, here's what's interesting about the Biden campaign. So now, you guys remember in 2016, the Hillary Clinton campaign says, we don't want progressives, we don't need you. we're not going to come towards your position really at all. I mean, yes, we're going to do a little bit of lip service here and there. Biden's campaign is slightly different in the fact that they're saying, well, we do need you. We do want you. We hear you. We hear you. Oh, okay. Well, you hear us, right? Well, I think you don't hear us enough because we're saying Medicare for all, Green New Deal, and we're not, we didn't stutter. Okay. That's what we want before we'll even consider. Come to us on policy if you want our votes. We also want our candidate to not take money from Wall Street. And yes, a lot of us are still not going to believe him if he comes to those policies because, again, Biden has a history of not being honest. So now, still, we might see if Biden is actually serious about, picking a VP that is at least somewhat progressive some of the time. And to be honest, a lot of us have really low expectations. A lot of us, myself, at least I can only speak for myself, I do believe that he's going to pick somebody who is like Gretchen Whitmer or Amy Klobuchar, right? Which would be a slap in the face to progressives. Now, the Biden campaign is saying, no, we're listening to you guys. We'll pick someone else. Well, again, if you're listening, then you would not pick someone like Elizabeth Warren. You would pick someone who is actually progressive. You would choose a Nina Turner or Bernie Sanders to be your BP. But of course, the establishment would never go along with that, a Bernie Sanders pick especially, because they don't want Bernie Sanders anywhere near the White House at all. And so they think, look, if they think that choosing Elizabeth Warren is going to placate a lot of progressives, I don't think so. They're definitely not. No, I don't think it's going to happen whatsoever. No, I think he's going to go safe. I think he's going to go with the donors ultimately, and choose a Gretchen Whitmer. I think that's pretty much the choice. We'll see what happens, but I can tell you with a fair amount of certainty, the donors will likely win out because Joe Biden has a lot of problems raising money. I don't think he will choose Warren. He's got a lot of issues. He needs that donor money. He needs the bundlers because Donald Trump has a massive, massive money advantage. And there's no enthusiasm for Biden, especially from young people, especially from that Bernie Sanders base, which is why you've got Bernie Sanders out there saying, please donate to the Democratic Party, to which a lot of us progressives are saying, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. How about no? So I do very much think that it's going to be someone other than Warren, that it's going to be someone safe, that it's going to be someone palatable to the donors. And I can tell you with a fair amount of certainty, that is not Elizabeth Warren. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.